Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT, and now we move on to Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. And this came out in 2001, and when Bert is now fully the main character, where he was sort of the side character in the previous films, they decided he's now the main character, and will it be going forward? And the one good thing about going back to where the first film started, which is what they do, they go back to Perfection in Nevada, is you get to see characters from the first film again. You have Nancy, little Nancy, who's now grown up, played once again by Ariana Richards, who, if I didn't mention in the first film, is a girl from Jurassic Park. Her mother, still played by the same actress. We have Miguel, one of my favorite characters from the first film. We'll get to him. And unfortunately also, Melvin. We are also introduced to Jody, who is the niece of Walter Chang from the first film, taking over her uncle's store, and Jack, who is sort of a substitute for Earl or Val. He's sort of a partner for him. For most of the film, though, Miguel is Bert's sidekick, working with him. Jack's there too, and Jody. And then once the unfortunate happens, Miguel, my favorite character from the first film, who wasn't the main characters, but he dies, and so then Jack, or he's killed, whatever, and so Jack takes over, and so the story here is that there's a real estate development that wants to buy up the land and take the property and build homes for people. And Bert doesn't want that to happen. There's graboids that return, and the government shows up wanting to study the graboids. Now, they find there was one graboid who is white. They call it's an albino graboid, and his name is El Blanco, as named by, I forgot his name. He's dead 5 minutes. I forgot his name. Miguel names him El Blanco, and Miguel tells a story about how he had an albino goat. Man, most goats are white anyway, but okay. And it couldn't reproduce. So they assumed that because this is an albino graboid, that it can't reproduce. I don't think it works that way, but the plot relevance, it does. And so they're chasing another graboid, and it turns out that graboid has hatched into 6 shriekers. Despite the fact that it didn't work that way in the last one, but they're calling them shriekers in this one. This movie starts with Bert going after shriekers. The shriekers are going around, and then Bert, Miguel, Jack, and Jody go after them, and they get distracted by El Blanco. Once they're finally able to kind of distract El Blanco to go away, they get to the shriekers, and they're gone because they were all stuck in one area. But then they get there, they're gone, and there's just husks left over. It turns out that there's another evolution in the graboid chain. They mutate, they look a little bit more like little birds, and they can shoot flames from their buttholes. And they're aptly named by Jody, which I thought was a good touch because Walter Chang named the graboid, so his niece names these Ass Blasters. I'm not kidding. This movie's PG, which means they wanted to, go towards kids with this. Ass Blasters. Mommy, can I have an ass blaster? What did you say? It was in the movie you showed me. The kids movie. Yeah, you're gonna sit there and say, but it says PG. It says PG. Therefore, it's recommended a parent watch with them Yeah, but growing up, if a movie said PG, and it meant that I didn't need to have someone watch with me because it's PG. You know what I mean? G and PG, even PG-13. Hell, I watched rated R movies when no one was around. But anyway, so now we have ass blasters, and it's a mix of chemicals from their butt, because they kill one and it leaks out, and it hits the flame, and Jack is an idiot. Look, it reacted to the air. No, it didn't. Maybe oxygen was a part of it, but the two chemicals mixed together, and that's what happened, not air. But I thought about that. There's a reason why they say the air, and it goes into the end of this film. So, yeah. So now they have to hunt down the rest of the ass blasters, and there are 4 left. They end up hiding in a porta potty. They go around. They end up killing 3 of them with 1 left. Mindy and her mom capture one of them and have it, because apparently, in the second one, when they ate food, they would multiply. Well, apparently, ass blasters. Okay, before I go into this, I gotta say something irony. So Bert, the ass blasters have made their way into Bert's compound. There's a hiding spot, and they hide in his little panic room, and they say, "How long can we last in here?" He goes, 6-7 years if you maintain your dietary restrictions. And I don't know if it lasts that long. And then the ass blaster starts to use its ass to burn through the door. So Bert comes with the idea, because once it gets in here, they don't want it to eat food, because they go by the shriekers. If they eat food, they multiply. So, Bert sets up a thing. He props a can of gasoline next to the door, so when the fire goes through, it, sets the thing on fire. And then the fire reaches his explosives and blows the rest of the thing up, killing the ass blaster in the process. And then he gets a radio from Mindy and her mom, Nancy, saying that they captured the ass blaster because he ate some food. It ate some food and passed out. Meaning that the ass blasters won't multiply, they'll just fall asleep. And Bert is understandably pissed, as he just blew up all his ammunition, everything, all his supplies, everything, to make sure they didn't multiply, and they wouldn't have anyway. Just falling asleep. But yes. And like I said, there's 1 left. And they use El Blanco, because El Blanco keeps finding Bert. And that's because of his watch. It's set to sync with a clock in Colorado or something, a system or radio in Colorado, and it's apparently putting off a frequency that the graboid can track. So they take that, they stick it to the ass blaster, and El Blanco swallows it. Now, I want to point out that what I was saying earlier. There's indeed a chemical reaction between the 2 chemicals in the ass blaster. The El Blanco would blow up. But because of plot convenience, and they need El Blanco for the end of the movie, they don't do that. That's why they have Jack say, it reacted to the air. Because then, you think, oh, it didn't explode because it needs oxygen also to do it. And maybe that was the last thing. I don't know if Jack's mouth was on there, if they just added it later, I don't know, but maybe it was a thought, because they need El Blanco to survive, because they need use that. Melvin shows up to meet Bert, and Bert says that because El Blanco cannot procreate, which he calls him hermaphroditic, but it's called asexual, Bert. Hermaphrodite means you have both sets of sex organs. Asexual means that they can give birth without having to have sex. It's asexual, not hermaphroditic. Okay? Although it does give meaning to the term "go fuck yourself." You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and so he tells Melvin, yeah, I love this part, that El Blanco is the only one left in perfection, and therefore he is a endangered species. What about the rest of the world, though? It's the only one left in perfection, yes, but he was in a different place at the beginning of the film, taking down Shriekers. We know from the second film there was some in Mexico. And there will be sequels that take place in other places. South Africa, Antarctica, or South Africa made up to be Antarctica. Just, you know, endangered species means there's only, the El Blanco is the only one left on the planet, and I don't see that as even remotely possible. It could be anywhere. They say they're Precambrian creatures, which means they could have been existed under the ground for millions of years without anyone even knowing. I mean, according to the first one, it was the road construction that woke them up. So, if someone happens to do construction in, say, New Mexico, boom. So to say that El Blanco was the last one and there he's an endangered species, while it works for the end of this film, and I like how they do it because Melvin, but there could be more out there. It's probably the last one in perfection, but I guarantee there's more out there. But so Bert takes off and leaves Melvin standing on the rock with El Blanco around. One thing I don't like is that because El Blanco has to be white, he's mostly CG. And I don't know if the other ones were, but he's like, they use a lot of CG in this one. It's 2001, and it makes it look like a sci-fi original movie. And I know, this was basically a pilot for the Tremors TV series. So, yeah, even though they recast several roles for the TV show, except for Bert, basically. But yeah, I think it's decent. Probably not the worst, I don't think. I gotta rank these eventually. But yeah, Tremors 3, Back to Perdition is a pretty decent film. I'd say it definitely in the same vein as the other two, but not as good. I'll give it a 7. Because, you know, there's some logical inconsistencies here. And I don't like Jack and Melvin, and they killed Miguel. That's going on the checkboard there. That's one of the major things. They killed off Miguel. He was one of my favorite characters from the first film. I loved him. I liked him. Miguel. Oh. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Tremors 3 Back to Perdition? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.